Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Question and Answer Friday. I'm going to get going soon as I know that you can hear me and see me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'll just say hello to the first few I see. Rosa and Suzette. Mike, okay, good. Okay, we got a crowd this morning. That's all I was waiting for. And good morning to you. And Jerry and Joan and Maureen. Donna's with us. Okay, we got a good crowd coming on. Here we go. Peggy. Okay, we got a lot of questions. So Kathy, good morning, Diane, and Cynthia and Denise. Now, if you guys didn't come on with me yesterday afternoon, I meant to post it yesterday, but I'm a senior citizen, I forgot. But I'll post the World Health Organization and COVID and the relative risk of death. That is one of the most fascinating, and we talked about that yesterday. So if you didn't listen yesterday, get yesterday's live. And if not, of course, it'll come out as a podcast. It'll be out shortly as a podcast. Okay, you got to get to that. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what they found there. Okay, so let me go through your questions today, and I'll come on afterwards and say hello to you, okay, for those that posted, okay? So we appreciate it, okay? So no particular order. Parasites, hold on a minute. Yeah, somebody was asking about parasites. Let me do a whole teaching on parasites, okay? So next week, I plan on doing a teaching on parasites. So I'll leave it for then. Somebody was asking me about candida yeast, and I'll do a teaching on that too, okay? Maybe in the same one. We'll wait and we'll see where it goes. So the resting heart rate, Jocelyn is asking, with lower carbohydrates, you oftentimes get a lower resting heart rate. Well, of course, Josh, what's happening is that you're taking, well, first of all, you're taking away a lot of stress off your kidneys. You're taking stress away from your blood vessels, inflammation. Remember, insulin and insulin resistance, the side effect of insulin resistance, one of them, major, is your body develops inflammation. Insulin resistance, inflammation. Inflammation plays havoc with your blood vessels. And the same inflammation with a fever, for example, which is good for you. If you have a virus, that's how your body fights. It's the ambulance system in your body, but it better go away. Otherwise, it starts to be destructive. So inflammation is like a double-edged sword. You need inflammation if you have an injury or you have a bug, but inflammation doesn't go away, starts to damage, especially the Teflon layer, what we call the endothelial layer of your blood vessels. It's like Teflon, very slippery, and that's the way you want it. You want blood to flow and not stick. So it's a good question, Josh, but one of the things that we're aiming for is a lower, we talked about blood pressure in the past and how the kidneys go into it's an effect, the kidney stress. Somebody was asking, by the way, let me get to it now, and I'll get to the name once. Oh, Trish, what causes high urea? High urea is caused by kidney stress, kidney damage. Again, you lower your urea when you lower the stress on the kidneys. Insulin And insulin resistance, sugar, causes damage to kidneys. It stresses the kidneys. Nothing stresses the kidneys more than sugar. And number two, a lack of water. I mean, you know, if you just want to boil things down, two things. Think of kidneys, think of sugar, bad, not salt, bad sugar. And two, dehydration, not enough water. And only water is water. So you'll produce more urea when your kidneys are not functioning properly. Okay? It's a sign that the kidneys are being stressed. David is asking, is iodized salt good for you? Well, iodine is good for you. You know, table salt is devoid of all of its minerals. It's sodium chloride. And they add iodine to it, and that makes it better for sure. It's better for you than ordinary table salt. But here's me, David. I'm big on natural salt, like Himalayan, a very good sea salt. These things have iodine in them. And, you know, I like iodine. Of course, it's not in the soil anymore. It's been stripped away. It's one of the reasons we see so much thyroid problems. Iodine is what I put in. It's one of the main ingredients in our thyroid formula. It's very devoid in our nutrition today. So iodized salt, well, it's better than the ordinary salt of, remember, table salts. Table salt's not really salt. It's it's stripped, it's bleached of all of its nutrients, minerals. So I love salt. Salt's good for you. Now, never take a lot of salt, okay? You know I've said this to you in the past. The only time salt can elevate your blood pressure is if you are dehydrated at the same time. It all has to do with volume of salt in how much in your blood versus how much water you're drinking. Your blood is a river. Read the Bible. The life of the flesh is in the blood. It's very important for your blood to travel through 60,000 miles of blood vessels. You need vata, H2O. And only water is water. Only water will push that blood. Take away the stickiness of blood. That's very important to remember that. That's why I classified water as a vitamin. Every day you need 2 liters, 64 ounces for my American friends. 2 liters. Some people need more than that. A lady was asking me the other day, she had diabetes insipidus, which is a different diabetes, but thirsty all the time. Terrible thirst. We talked about a little bit this week about, some of the signs that you're heading towards insulin resistance. Polyuria, polydipsia, polyphasia. Remember we talked about that. Okay, so water is very important. Okay, so resting heart rate, iodized salt. Janice is asking about activated charcoal for a detox. I don't like it. I don't like it. It was sort of the new kid on the block about 10 years ago. And it got some big ink. And it gets marketing. And it pushes. And I never liked it. It coats your stomach. I don't like that. You don't want to coat your stomach from your acidity, your natural acidity. I don't like activated charcoal, to be honest with you. much better ways to do a detox. The best thing you can do for a detox is you hit your liver. Okay, you hit your liver. If you empty out your liver, you're doing a detox, because your liver knows how to detoxify you. It'll do it. Your liver is clean when it's not full of fat. Okay, somebody else asked that question. But Janice, look, and I don't mean to dismiss, there's certain supplements I get asked, and some people have asked about certain supplements here. I sort of have my hit parade, and you have to understand where I come from. You know, unless clinically I found that it worked. It's not that I dismiss it. You know, somebody's asking about garlic. Well, I want you to eat your garlic. Can you take it as a pill, Denise, for the immune system? Yeah, garlic is great. I mean, it is, you know, they use it for cholesterol, right? Garlic pills for cholesterol. I like garlic. It's good for you. But to take it for your immune system in a capsule, I just find things are better than that. That's all. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm telling you there's better things. Vitamin D is much better for you. I explained that yesterday in the video. What vitamin D does for your immune system is absolutely incredible. Oil of oregano. I put oil of oregano at the top of the food chain as an antiviral, it's an antioxidant, but it's an antiviral, it's antibacterial, it's antifungal. It's all of it. And it don't kill your friendly bacteria. So garlic's good because it's I like to eat the garlic. You know why? Because it's a prebiotic. It's got fructooligsaccharide in it. Because somebody asked that. Okay, I'll come to that a little bit again. Because we're going to get to it. Dawn, is it Dawn? My writing, I can hardly read. I think it's Dawn. Asking how much meat for B12? How many times a week can you eat red meat? 100? It's like eggs. Doc, how many eggs can I eat? 100? I don't care. I mean it. I don't care. It's like red meat. You know what B12 is? It's water soluble. What's that mean? Your body will not take more of it than it needs. So don't worry about, if I have 10 steaks this week, my B12 will get too high. No, it won't. No, it won't. It's a water-soluble vitamin. Your body takes what it needs. Now, some people have to supplement, even if they eat 10 steaks, because they got digestive issues, or they're on medication, or they don't have the intrinsic factor, or whatever, a lot of things. B12 is a very finicky vitamin. And remember, it's not in the plant kingdom. It's just not there. Don't fool yourself. If you're a vegetarian, or you're a vegan, or you're just eating chicken, you need to supplement. If I can't talk you into eating steak, if I can't talk you into it, and some people I can't, okay? Well, then you need to supplement. Well, Dr. Martin, my B12 is normal. Normal's not good for B12. Optimized is good. You better optimize your B12. Okay. 2 questions about feeding bacteria. Diane and Joe are asking the same question. Dr. Martin, if you don't have plants and you don't have fruits, then how do you feed bacteria? It's a good question. I like it. FOS, fructooligosaccharides, garlic, okay? But fructooligosaccharides are found in vegetables and that. We put FOS in our probiotic, put a prebiotic into the probiotic. But let me give you my thinking, okay, so that you understand where I come from. Your bacteria, do they really need to be fed? Yes. When you feed bacteria with high density nutrition, like eggs, meat, and cheese, and you avoid sugar, sugar feeds the other side, the bad guys, especially the third army, which is Candida albicans. So if you don't feed that, your bacteria are involved in the breakdown of your foods and nutrition. Now, I like fructooligosaccharides, but it's not essential. It's, if you don't have fiber, your bacteria, your good bacteria won't thrive. That's not true. What makes good bacteria not thrive is when you don't feed it properly, and when you feed the bad guys with sugar. So, get it? I'm not against the fiber. All I'm saying is fiber's overrated. Fiber's overrated. Because if that's what you live on, yeah, you'll go to the bathroom more often, but that's not nutrition. That's not the nutrients that your body needs. Partially it does, but you can't, the biggest thing is the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom. Okay, and dairy, by the way, not milk, white Pepsi, but cheese, cream. They feed your good bacteria. They have a fructooligosaccharide in it. Okay? Now, good questions, though. I'm glad you guys are thinking. I love it. Albina, what foods to avoid for blood clots? Well, I'll tell you what helps with blood clots is when you're consuming K1. Okay, K1 thins your blood. Vitamin K1 is found in the plant kingdom mostly, in greens. So it's good for that. If you don't have, it's not, Albina, blood clots, by the way, are not so much food, it's water. Again, remember the thickness of the blood? Okay? Blood volume. Thin your blood out with H2O. Very important. Okay, so that's vitamin W to thin your blood out. And K1, I like K1. Ladies, you can have your salad once in a while. Just don't live on it. Kathy's asking a question about curcumin. And if you read the labels, sometimes on the label, I think it was talking about gallbladder, then consult with your healthcare practitioner, okay? Well, you are, Kathy, you're consulting with me. Look, sometimes we have to put stuff on labels because it comes from Health Canada or the FDA in the United States on labels. Most of the time I don't agree with it, but it's the law. You want to sell supplements? You're going to, there's certain requirements on certain labels. Now, I personally have never seen any of this stuff with curcumin. You get a good curcumin, which is an extract of turmeric. It's so anti-inflammatory, so good for you. I love it. Side effects? Nah, I'm not worried about it. I don't see a lot of it. But you have to understand there's labeling requirements. And it bugs me, but that's the way it is in Canada and often the same in the United States. Karen is asking about soft, runny yolk for eggs. More than, is there more nutrition in that than hard-boiled, for example? Nah, not really. Not really, Karen, okay? You look at an egg, I don't care how you like it, it's all good. Eat the yolk, whether it's running or not. The only problem with runny yolks is that a lot of my patients used to tell me, oh, doc, I need toast. I can't eat those. I like my eggs sunny side up. And when I start to eat them, they run and I got to have toast to suck up. No, you don't. Pretend. But no, I mean, it's, you know, you cook something, do you really lose? Nah. I don't get into the weeds. Okay? Karen, I don't get into weeds. I just want you to eat the right things. And eat them the way you like them. Okay? Because somebody asked me about steak. Well, does it have a little bit more nutrition if it's still mooing? That's the way I like my steak. You know? Rare. But at the end of the day, it's all good. Okay? It's all good. Yeah, cook it the way you like it. Believe you me, when you stick to eggs, meat, and cheese any way you like it, it's all good. Is some maybe a little bit better? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But I don't get into the weeds too much because I want to speak in, you know, every week I'm speaking to 50, 60,000 people. More than that. And I just want them to focus. I don't like to get into the weeds too much because then they're going to get, you know, if I don't have runny yolks, I don't like runny yolks. Therefore, eggs, you know, if I don't like eggs, I like hard boiled, and Dr. Martin's saying they're not good for me. They're great for you. Okay? But Karen, you're asking very good questions. Just understand, I'm speaking in generalities, okay? David, does a lack of nutrition cause premature babies? Well, I guess it's possible. It's possible, David. But there's a lot of other factors. Hormonal, usually progesterone, low levels of progesterone. Progesterone is very important. Too much estrogen, not enough progesterone. Those things need to be balanced. I think it's more important. And remember, you can get hormonal imbalances with food. A lot of women especially, they fix their hormones on the reset. It's so much better. So there's a connection. And one of the big connections is you're emptying out that liver. That's where your hormones. That's where your hormones, and plus you're making cholesterol in the liver. And cholesterol transports your hormones. So yeah, nutrition's important. It is, David. Is it everything? Nah, probably not everything. When it comes to, you know, babies and premature babies and whatever. Okay? But it's a factor. It's a factor for sure. Joanna, insulin resistance. Okay, so she's saying, this is, Joanna, I like it. You're listening. And you're saying, with insulin resistance, sugar stays in the bloodstream. Yeah, but not forever. okay? So Joanna, what happens to insulin? Well, look, you have to understand here, okay, you eat a carb. You have sugar. Insulin job, 100%, and it'll do the job. It has to. Will take the sugar and get it out of your bloodstream. Why? Sugar is toxic. Empty out your 5 liters of blood, and you'll have less than a teaspoon of sugar in your bloodstream. Your body knows how to regulate bloodstream. That's one of its primary jobs as insulin, is to keep your sugars in a very, very tight range. Not too high, not too low, okay? Insulin resistance is you need more insulin to do the same job. So you have a carb, you have insulin resistance, and you get insulin resistance because you've had too many carbs over a period of time. Now your cells can't stand insulin, but insulin must do the job. It will do the job. But sugar won't stay in the bloodstream unless you're a diabetic. You're a full-fledged diabetic. But even then, you know what your body does? You pee out sugar. You'll pee it out. Your body knows it's so smart. It will not allow sugar to stay in the bloodstream. If it does and it stays very high, you're in deep doo-doo. But sugar will come out of the bloodstream. And sugar, when you eat it, is used as energy. And if you don't use that energy right away, immediately, it's stored. And it's stored as fat. Sugar is stored as fat in the body, in the muscles, in your liver, or in the body making more and more and more fat cells to store your sugar. So you use sugar right away as your energy, or you're going to store it as fat. So fat don't make you fat. Sugar does. That's how your body operates. Okay? Good question, Joanna. Okay, Beth's asking about hemorrhoids. Well, hemorrhoids are varicose veins in the wrong place. Nobody likes to have varicose veins, ladies. Yeah, some men get them. But when they're at the end of your rectum, they're no fun either. Okay? And what are some of the causes? Well, poor circulation. Okay? And thyroid, oftentimes will do it, the sluggish thyroid, because you become constipated. The peristalsis slows down in the gut, and you can get varicose veins there, hemorrhoids. I love, one, exercise, helps a lot, big time. 2, the antioxidant, Navital. So good to elevate nitric oxide in blood vessels and restore the lining of the blood vessels, the Teflon lining. Okay? So good questions. Lori's asking about high levels of DHEA. Well, look, Lori, that can be a lot of things. Someone has high levels of DHEA, they have a hormonal imbalance. It's usually adrenal, can be caused by adrenal exhaustion, could be a tumor on the adrenals. And, you know, you can get balding, you can get hair on your face, you know, for women, acne, adult acne, all these things. So it's amazing how much better the adrenals get when you change up your diet, okay? But high levels of DHA are, caused by adrenal glands. High levels of stress over a long period of time elevate your cortisol and can eventually elevate your DHEA. I don't really care too much about, measuring DHEA. Like for me, I go on symptoms more than that, okay? Beth is asking about healthy hair dye. You know what, Beth? That's a question that I would put on the Martin Clinic Facebook group and ask the women. They'd know. Okay? But there are some natural dyes with, not the chemicals in them, not the ammonia. They're ammonia free and things like that. And you ladies, you answer the question for her. Okay? Which ones you like best, the natural ones. John is asking a very good question here, and let me, because he's saying, look, if only 12% of the population are healthy, 88% have metabolic syndrome. 88%. North Americans have metabolic syndrome. Yet 75% of the people who have heart attacks have normal cholesterol levels. Yeah. But, okay, if you have a heart attack and you have normal cholesterol levels, the reason is because cholesterol is not the cause of heart disease. Never was and never will be. Never was and never will be, John. They have normal cholesterol levels, but they got metabolic syndrome. Okay? They got metabolic syndrome with normal. See, cholesterol is really, it's okay. Partially, John, you're right, but when medicine looks at cholesterol, they're looking at LDL. They don't look at triglycerides. There's very few doctors that look at triglycerides unless they're extremely high. They don't look at it because they've been trained to look at LDL, which is supposed to be the bad guy. It's not. See, cholesterol is not at the root of the problem at all. And that's the point, John. It's not cholesterol, it's triglycerides. And to some extent, it's cholesterol because you don't have high HDL. But again, medicine doesn't look at that. So when I say, and I didn't say it, but studies have shown that 75% of people have a heart attack, have normal cholesterol. Well, they're not talking about HDL and they're not talking about triglycerides, which is lipid, your lipid profile. And by the way, it's caused by diet. HDL and triglycerides are directly proportional to the amount of carbs you eat. Directly proportional to that. And so, I hope I made that clear for you, John. Okay, it's a good question though. You're thinking. Okay? But unfortunately, when it comes to heart disease, medicine has been looking for love in all the wrong places for a long time. Danuta, okay, got to get going here. I'm way over time. What does Dr. Martin think about colostrum? I like it. Take it as a supplement? Yeah. I don't like the supplement as much. I like colostrum because that's what the baby gets. When you breastfeed, in the first few months, they get all the colostrum. That's how they build up their immunity. Do I like it? Yes. Yeah, for sure. Carrie's asking about mullein tincture, which is a flower. Yeah. Again, my experience with that, I just like some other thing. Like I know why they use it. for lungs and especially respiratory. And sure, if it works for you, I got no problem with it at all, Carrie. There's so many things in nature that are so good for you. But again, me, I'm more, can I tell you? I'm an oil of oregano guy for all of that. I just never found something better than the lungs in terms of essential oils like oil of oregano. It's numero uno. It's God's gift to man. And I mean that. Okay. Kristen, do you need less insulin for almond flour? Yes, compared to other flours, almond flour is a better, it's got, it's got less of an insulin response, okay? Like, don't overdo it, but yeah, I like almond flour. It's a good thickening agent. It's good. It's better than than most flours. Yes. Jennifer and bursitis. What about it? Well, a lot of people get bursitis. Is that due to injury? Is it due to gout? Is it, we talked about this in bursitis, that it can be a sign. We talked about, the glycation. Remember that in the last few days? We talked about all the hidden signs of insulin resistance, and bursitis can be one of them, especially if they're reoccurring. It's amazing. Creates inflammation. The bursa can be affected. So good question. Donna, getting rid of cholesterol bumps under the eyes. Okay, some people develop that. I find antioxidants, pine bark extract, probably the best to do. Okay? Up your good cholesterol and you get rid of crappy cholesterol that sits in your eye, under your eyelids. Okay? Get your HDL up. More eggs, meat, and cheese. Nativity. She's saying as soon as she goes outside, her eyes water. Well, Nativity, you're weird. No, I'm just teasing, okay? No, look, everybody's different, right? That's a reaction. What does it mean? I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Okay? Now, going outside on a very cold day, 40 below, would be normal for your body to react like that. But if it happens all the time, Nativity, I wouldn't worry about it. Francis, nodules on the thyroid, what to do? Well, don't feed them. If you get nodules on your thyroid, you're a carboholic. You got too much estrogen. Keep those two hormones down. Insulin and estrogen. That PCOS, insulin and estrogen. Nodules, insulin and estrogen. Fibroids, insulin and estrogen. Don't feed them. It's amazing what happens when you don't feed the bears. Okay? Marnie, eye twitching. And Marnie, I think I know you enough to know discipline, you do everything right. It could be, when nutritionally, because a lot of times with eye twitching, it can be low magnesium levels. And I don't think that's you, Marnie, but for some, that's what it is. They're low in magnesium. The other thing is stress. And that could be that, where your cortisol levels are going up and you're stressed, and the eye can twitch because of that. Okay? Look for those two things, Marnie, but I don't think with you it's magnesium. Lynn, coffee and then has to go to the washroom. Well, coffee's a mild laxative. For some. Not for everybody, but for some. And that's all right. You'll never get me to say anything bad about coffee. I'm sorry, I won't do it. It's too good for you. Okay, Lynn? I am biased, but I'm right. I feel sorry for people that don't like coffee. I do. I feel sorry for you. Vitamin C. George was asking about does the colonoscopy cleanse? What's worse than the colonoscopy? The day before, when you have to get ready for a colonoscopy. Oh, right? Does it strip away all your good bacteria? Well, George, just about. It strips everything out of there. Good, bad, and ugly. So make sure you're on high doses of probiotic. Get that bacteria back. It's a good question. Nicole, heartburn on the reset. Yes, some people get it. Your body's adjusting. Your body's screaming at you. You're giving it a new fuel. But remember, at the end of the day, heartburn is a sign of insulin resistance. Your body's just adjusting. It's just adjusting. It's making, for some, a huge adjustment to the new fuel. It doesn't know. Ooh, what did you give me? I never had fuel like that in such proportions. It's so good for you. Lucy, hiatus hernia. Don't eat at night. Eat low carb. Can you cure it, man? You can put it to bed. You can put it to bed. Don't eat at night. Stop eating at 5 o'clock. No food. Give your body lots of time to digest. Makes a huge difference. Intermittent fasting too. Like go through the morning without eating, if you can. Okay? Again, does it cure it? It just puts it to bed. It won't bother you. Murray, too much water at one time, can it damage your kidneys? Well, it won't damage your kidneys. But, yeah, can you drink too much water? Yeah, you could. Have I seen it? Nah. It's 99-1 the other way, so no, it will not permanently damage the kidneys if you did it once. It can throw off your salt levels and a volume of water too much. I mean, it can happen. The guys that run the marathon, they drank too much water and they get, it's the body sort of, at the cellular level, and your salts get thrown off with too much water. It can happen. It's just too rare that I don't talk about that too much because 99% is the other way, not enough water. Murray, so good question. And Susanna was asking a question that I already answered. How does sugar cause fat around the organs? Well, I told you how sugar gets metabolized. It gets stored. If you don't use it as energy, it gets stored as fat. Somebody was asking about angioedema, hives, urticaria. It's an allergy. Find out what you're allergic to. Is it a cat? No, but seriously, that's allergies. A lot of people get that. When the thyroid's not working, oftentimes you can get angioedema. But usually something's bothering you. You got to figure that out. And that can come out of nowhere. And someone was asking, I didn't even write the name down, high prolactin levels. That's the last question. Well, look, you got to watch. It could be a tumor in the pituitary or whatever. Like, if you got high prolactin levels, your doctor is well aware of that and will be doing further testing. Okay? So, thank you so much for all those questions. I hope I didn't forget anybody there. And book, thank you very much for that. #1 seller. That's you guys that did that. Incredible. If you haven't got a copy of it, read the reviews on our book. Read the reviews. Fantastic. Okay? So thanks a lot. We appreciate it. The Metabolic Reset. Okay? It's got to be in your library. Make sure. If you're not part of it, I'm going to post in the Martin Clinic Facebook group the study from the World Health Organization of yesterday. People were asking me. I just didn't do it last night. I should have. I forgot. And thirdly, if you're not a member of the Martin Clinic Facebook group, and by the way, see, that's a good place to send the questions in, because some of the questions get answered. Like about what hair dye is a natural hair dye. You ladies know more about that than I do. I don't have enough hair to worry about. Males, eh? Most of us, not all of us. But ladies, if you don't have enough hair, that's never normal. Okay, so love you guys. Talk to you soon. God bless you.